That's okay. That's okay. Okay. Stream manager. Oh, who's calling me? Okay. What about... Alright, testing... Oh, yay! Okay, okay. Alright, I've got that. I've got that. I have that. Oh. Grandma! It is. It is I, Grandmama. Hello, hello. Oh, you guys are... Here, 1 second. I'm gonna fix that. You guys should be above that thing. But hi. Hi, Canna. Oh, I have my water. You should get your water, too. Okay. I guess I'll go ahead and run the ad. Agile, agile. Oh. It's making so much noise, but I really want M&M's. Hi, Juicy. Ba ba ba. I have no water, but I have Mountain Dew. You know, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. You know, if you gotta have one, you gotta have something. Hello, hello, hello. Tonight is gonna be spooky and scary. We're gonna be doing some Dracula reading. I'm very excited, very pumped. P-U-M-P-T, pumped. Yay! I know, so scary. Hello, Justin, hello. It is gonna be wonderful. We're gonna have, oh, make sure that you guys let me know if my voice is too low or if it drowns out by the rain. I want to make sure that the rain is just heard enough that it's good, but not too heard. Maybe is also streaming. Oh, heck yes. More fodder for the D&D character creation streams? Yes, please. God, I love D&D. I would be down, absolutely down to clown. Oh, what kind of what kind of D&D character is it? I just saw someone was it on Twitter or Discord? I think it was on Discord. They oh no, my MMM. I think it was on Discord, but they shared a fairy barbarian. I was so, oh my god. It was this tiny little fairy, but she was freaking stacked, so jacked. Oh, it was so cool. If I can find the picture again, I'll make sure to share it on on what's it called? What's that thing called? On the Twitter. The very fun. Oh yes, yes, fun-sized barbarian. Absolutely. But yes, yes, yes. A tabaxi 1950s mob boss. That reminds me of the one second. Let's go ahead. We have been here long enough. We have been doing this plenty. We've been doing this plenty. Where's I should probably turn that off. That reminds me. What it's on YouTube. It's the YouTube and it has the what's that? Oh, hello? Thank you. But it's on YouTube. It's about not abolitionists. What's that thing called when it was like alcohol wasn't allowed. It was dang, where's my brain? Just sent me what I got so far. Thank you. But what's that thing? It's like that thing's gonna be in my brain all weekend, and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that one thing. It's like a bunch of cats, and they're running around, and there's like different mafia gangs, and this is not what I expected when I saw a pumpkin hat, but I mean it is a hat. Oh, yes, yes. I could have done a full pumpkin, Raven, but then you wouldn't be able to see my pretty eyes. My peepers. Aren't I pretty? I forgot. I am the goth grandmommy. Yes. Yes, I have goth grandma. I mean, we always have goth grandma, because, like, my purple outfit is also very goth. But this is, like, it's like Negan. If I were Negan, I would dress like this. But I don't have a bat. Hi, Bean. Hi, Bean. Oh, I love that little face. Wait, that's my face. I'm glad that all of the new emotes we made last stream are finally working. I'm sorry they weren't working last time. I don't know why. I don't know how to fix that. But hi. Hi. Calling the pumpkin Randall. Yes, we can call myself Randall. I am now Randall. That's my new name. Randy. Randy Dandy. I mean, I'm always a little Randy. Let's be honest. Oh, hi. Why are you so sad? Why? I'll remember for just $1. Wait, one second. Let me add, and then me image and existing shortlist incentives. Okay, and then let's make it bigger. Where am I gonna put you? Maybe right here? Let's put you here. Okay, and then okay. How do I make you? I'm gonna make you a little squished. Make me say anything. But yes, let's put it behind me. And then I'll just make sure to be not so dang big. How do I make myself a little smaller? A little smaller. Is that better? I mean that's a little better. That's a little better. It's there we go. Hi. Hello, I have missed you. I've been working and it's been hell. Oh, I'm so sorry. Rip. I'm glad you're here though. But yes, my little Sindor. If you want to give her a treat, donate 100 biddies or just $1. Or you could make me say some crazy shit. Or we can add things to my outfit or change it completely if you don't want if you don't want me to be God. I won't be sad. I'll just be disappointed in you because it's spooky, scary season. You know, we're spooky and we're scary. But I'm doing the Remember That Time Michael Jackson song every time someone donates. Do you remember? That's not Michael Jackson, but that's what's in my brain. That's what's in my noodle. It's true, my peepers are pretty. Thanks. I'm not blushing, I promise. But, do subs count for donation? Absolutely! A sub is like... How much is a sub? Is it like $5? I'll put your name on a cookie. But let me take a look. Let me go over here. How much is biddies? No, I want to do bits. Okay, 500 bits is about $7. Oh, well, how do I do a gifted sub? How would I gift a sub? It doesn't let me gift a sub on my own thing. It's an avocado, thanks. Let me. Where? I wanna. Thanks. So many. I feel so loved. But the song is Earth, Wind, and Fire, Grandma. I'm sorry. Halloween Huntress. Ooh. I would dress like Raven. Raven has great taste. I'll dress like Raven. You know. But yes, Halloween Huntress Gracie. That's our what's it called? Our collab name. You sub, but no notification popped up. Why? ¿Por qué no? How do I look in there? Viewer rewards, emotes, no. Content, no. Monetization. Okay, subscriptions. Alerts. Okay. All other alerts. Edit alerts. New follower. Turned on. Subscription for Prime. For new sub and for other things. Okay, gifted subs. It's not turned. Well, it says at least one can. It says gifted sub. Why is it not? Copy. What if I edit? What if I edit? Yeah, it doesn't say it's on here either. Because it's not on my thingy either. Am I not allowed to have subscriptions? Alerts? Propiedades? It looks like it's the same. Can someone unfollow and then follow? And then and maybe something was wrong on my end? I'm gonna assume it was wrong on my end. I mean, let's be honest. If anyone's gonna have tech issues, it's gonna be me.
I just wanted to say...
Oh, thank you, Juicy. So sweet.
Thanks. I'm glad you came along, partner.
I'm sorry. That was very unhinged, very bad of me. I'm so sorry. But in my defense, I thought it was funny. So I don't know why it's not working, Bean. I don't know how to fix it. I'm a fan of NSYNC because I just quoted one of their songs. Bye, 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 bye. Don't wanna be a fool for you. Just another player in your game for two. It might sound crazy, but it ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye. Do I see a gift box on the top of my chat? I do not. Community? Broadcaster view Bean! It says Bean. I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to How do I No, not that one, a different one. Okay. How kind of you guys to help me. I'm not planning on doing costumes, not much in terms of partying or anything like that for Halloween. That's okay. Draven. Yeah, my bad. But at least for your area, I understand. I wonder, yeah, I resubbed. I don't know if subs and resubs are different alerts. Let me go take a look. Bye, bye, bye. Sorry. That's a different one. Gracie said it's gonna be me. It's gonna be me. Okay, subscriptions. Resubscription. Yeah. How come?
I just wanted to say
Hi.
thanks.
I'm glad you came
I'm
along.
glad you came along.
Partner. It's nice to meet you. Ultra Slayer? You're terrifying. Thank you. I appreciate it. But why? How come it no work? Well, thank you so much, Bean. I really appreciate it. You're a darling. I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's but Kenta! You! I'm a what? Ultra Ram Slayer? Am I saying it right? But hi! 1 second, I don't have any moderators with me today, and I'm trying to figure out. There are only several technician issues, and they're all because of me. So sorry, but hi. I'm not gaming. What am I supposed to be doing? Where's my button? Let me look at my sticky note. Where's the button? That one. There we go. This is what we're supposed to do. But hi. As a reminder, I'm doing a St. Jude's charity event. For $1, you can make me say anything, or you can give my doggy a treat, or you can write a tweet, or you can make me compliment my tech guy, my moderator who's not here, who left me all alone. How do I spell calamity? I keep spelling it wrong. Come on now. Oh my god. Not calamity. That's not how you do it. Is it? Oh, thank god. Hi. Hello. Ignore the last, 1 second. Hi, welcome. We're gonna be reading Dracula. If you notice that it says 17 minutes, that just means you can't read. We actually just started, like, just now. Like, we just started just now. There was no scuff that you can prove. But hi. I hope that you're doing okay. I know Kenta has, like, so much that boy's gotta do, so, like, he can skedaddle, absolutely. But the rest of you are stuck with me. Oh my god, I love that little blue guy. Wait, let me go on to the other thing. Oh, who is that guy from? From Kellen? I love that dude. Oh my god, that looks so cool. I love it. It looks so pretty. I love the colors. What scuff? There was only yapping. Exactly. Only yaps. No scuff. But yes, you can give my good little girl a treat. She deserves it. She is my little baby girl. She's so sweet. Oh, I should probably write down that Bean gets, his name on a cookie. I almost forgot. Bean. There we go. Yes. Oh, there's more guys. I love the little blue guy. Oh. But yes. I should probably start reading. That's what we're here for anyway. I tried something new last time we did reading, and I had it off screen so that I could still read chat and read the story at the same time, and I really liked that. So I hope you don't mind, but I'm gonna try and do that again. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, I love them. Oh, thank you for sharing. But yeah, Kenta's probably super tired, so I mean, I was just mostly kidding. If you can't stay, if Kenta also has to go, like if you have to leave with Kenta, I understand. The fact that you guys came to say hi is, like, super sweet of you anyway. And if you can't stay, like, I won't cry. Not on stream. I promise. But here, I should probably drink some water real quick before we get started on the Dracula storytelling. I might take another one. Oh my god, that felt so good. Okay. Oh, cheese. Cheese and crackers. I did not mean to slam my water down. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Should I make that a little smaller? Like, should I make it look like it's... You know, this is the problem with Grandma. I look at something and then I'm like, oh, I should change that. I'm gonna make it look like it's a poster. That way I can be a little bit more... I'm eating pizza. Paella? Paella? Panini? Don't mind me. I'm so hungry, y'all. Ignore my ramblings. Do y'all want to see my... But wait, some of you guys might not have seen it last week. 1 second, let me zoom in. Ignore my tummy. What happened to my tights? Oh, there they are. Okay, but yes, I have keychains. I love them a lot. They make me super happy. Obviously my favorite is Lake Placid because, I mean, if you don't like Lake Placid, obviously you don't have good taste, which is fine. You know, it's okay. I can teach you. Don't worry. But yes, that's probably my favorite part of this model. I just love it so much, you know. Okay. It is spooky, scary story time. Did I notice? I didn't notice until that I got a 2D ROM Gorilla's charm. I have a 2D ROM I have Gorilla? No, I think I don't think it's a gorilla. I don't think it's a gorilla. 1 second, let me zoom in. I'm gonna zoom in real big. I don't think it's a gorilla, darling. You sure? I'm pretty sure it's I've got the thing, then the cat from Frankenweenie, and then we've got Coraline. 2D from the virtual band gorillas. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that's Coraline. At least I think it is. I mean, you know, I drew it myself, so I might have forgotten. Hey Gracie, I thought I'd stop in before. Oh yay! Good luck. I hope it goes well. Oh, oh yes, I had an amazing October. It is wonderful, spooky season. Yes, I'm showing off my my charms because I don't think that's gorillas. Thighs. Wait 1 second. You want thighs? I can give you thighs. 1 second. Ta-da! But yes, any more thighs and I'm gonna make you pay. For charity, not for me. It's not for me, it's for children. Hello? Why huh? Sorry, the zero pupper. I know it's the little puppy. The charms look amazing, thank you. I hope it goes well too. Yay! Oh, I love the little puppy emote. It's so cute. Oh, I could have mixed them up because of the blue hair, black eyes. Oh yeah, that's okay. I still love you.
I just wanted to say...
Oh, thank you, Artemis. Bye.
Thanks. I'm glad you came along. Partner.
But yes, okay. You guys came here for something. I'm going to deliver on it. I shall make haste. You know. Hi, my girl. I'm sorry. I can't. She's here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pet her while I start reading. Chapter 3. Jonathan Harker's journal continues. When I found that I was a prisoner, a sort of wild feeling came over me. I rushed down the stairs, trying every door, peering out every window that I could find, but after a little, the conviction of my helplessness overpowered all my other feelings. I'm a castaway. Aww. Is it because he's ignoring me? Well, when I look back after a few hours, I think that I must have been mad because I behaved like a rat would in a trap. However, when the conviction had come to me, I was helpless and I sat down quietly as I had ever done anything in my life. I began to think over what was best to be done. I am thinking still and as yet have come to no definite conclusion. Oh, of one thing I am certain, and it is that no use is making my ideas known to the Count. He knows well that I am imprisoned, and that he has done it himself. He has doubtless his own motives for it, and he could only deceive me if I trusted him fully with all of the facts. The name of Tom Hanks' movie. Oh, yeah, I remember. So far as I can see, my only plan will be to keep my knowledge and my fears to myself, and my eyes must stay wide open. I know, either being deceived like a babe, or by my own fears, else I'm in desperate straits. If the latter it be so, then I need and shall need all of my brain to get through it. Oh, poor guy. I had Ardley? Mm-hmm. 1 second. Okay. I had hardly come to this conclusion when I heard the great door below shut, and I knew that the Count had returned. He didn't come all at once into the library, so I went cautiously on my own to the room, and I found him making the bed. This was odd, but it only confirmed that I was all alone, and that there were no servants in the house. When later I saw him through the chink of the hinges of the door, laying on the table in the dining room, I was assured of it. For if he doesn't all of these things himself, such menial tasks, surely it is proof that there is no one else in the castle. Okay. I'm 800-something points away from redeeming Tipsy Grandma. Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. Are we gonna make this a drunk rating stream? I am terrified, but also that would be hilarious. Where is I? Oh yes. It is proof that there is no one else in the castle, and surely the Count is by himself, the driver of the coach, and the sole reason who brought me here. This was a terrible thought, for if so, what does it mean that he could control the wolves as he did by only holding up his hand for silence? Let's go! How was it that all of the people in Bistries on the coach had some terrible fear for me? What meant the giving of the crucifix, of the garlic, of the wild rose, and the mountain ash? Wait, do roses keep vampires away? I really like that idea. Oh. Justin, don't make me hungry. I haven't had dinner yet. Oh. Hello? Oh. Okay, I'm good. Hi, hungry. I'm Justin. Bless that good, sweet woman who hung the crucifix around my neck, for it is a great comfort and strength to me whenever I touch it. It is an odd thing with which I have been taught to regard in disfavor, and as idolatrous should in the time of loneliness and trouble be of help. It is that there is something in the essence of the thing itself, and of that medium tangible help in conveying memories of sympathy and comfort. Sometime, if it may be, I must examine this matter, and try to make up my mind about it. But in the meantime, I must find out all that I can about the Count. And, as it may help me to understand, tonight he may have to talk to himself, for I must turn the conversation away. I have to be very careful, however, not to awaken his suspicion for me. It is very thick garlic bread, and the idea of putting grilled cheese on it just... I am very jealous. I'm very jealous. I'm a very jealous grandmother. Alas, it's midnight, and I have had a long talk with the Count. I asked him a few questions for Transylvanian history, and he warmed up to the conversation readily. In the speaking of things and people, and especially of battles, he spoke as if he had been present for all of them. Then, afterwards, he explained by saying that to a Boyard the pride of his house and name was on his own pride, and that their glory was his glory, and their fate his fate. Whenever he spoke of his house, he always said we, and spoke in plural, like a king. Oh, I wish I could put down exactly as he said it, but for the life of me, it was most fascinating. It seemed to have been a whole history of the country, He grew excited when he spoke, and he walked around the room, pulling out his great white mustache and grasping anything onto which he laid his hands as though he would crush it by main strength alone. One thing he said, which I will put down exactly as I can hear it, for it tells the way as the story of his race. I know. I love grilled cheese so much. I think this is supposed to be Czech, but Zeklis? I think. I think it's Zeklis. Never mind, you don't have any cheese. Hi. Welcome. We're reading Dracula. You're just in time. I'm trying to sound out words, but it's hard. Okay. We Zekelis? I'm gonna call it Zekelis. We Zekelis have a right to be proud, for in our very veins flows the blood of many brave races who have fought as the lions fought for lordship. Why, here in the whirlpool of the European races, the Greek tribe bore down on Iceland from the fighting spirit of which Thor and Odin gave them, which with the berserkers displayed such a fell intent on the seaboards of Europe, aye, and of the Asia and Africa too, till the people thought that the werewolves themselves had come about. Oh, my girl. What are you doing? Oh, hi. She's so patient. As a reminder, for one donation to St. Jude's, I'll give my little girl a treat. Bye-bye. I love you. Where is it? Oh yeah, and of the Huns whose warlike fury swept the earth like a living flame, till all of the dying people held in their veins ran the blood of those witches who, expelled from Scythia, have mated with the devils in the desert. Oh? Little racist. What devil or witch was ever so great as Attila, whose blood is in these veins? He held up his arms. It is a wonder that we were a conquering race, that we were proud, and that when the Magyar of the Lombard, the Avar, the Bulgar, or the Turk poured his thousands and thousands on frontiers, and we drove them back. It is strange that when Arpad and his regions swept through the Hungarian fatherlands, that he found us there, and when he reached the frontier, that the Honfoglas was completed, and when the Hungarian flood swept eastward, the Zekelis was claimed as kindred of the victorious Magyars, and for centuries were we trusted for the guardian of the frontier. This seems like a very long history lesson. I want to skip it. Grandmama Gracie has écrit une fanfiction romantique de Dracula. Elle était si pour torride que la presse a repassé. Nous pouvons pas la supporter. Back to posting foreign language sentences. Grandma Gracie, you decided on French. Yes. A romantic fanfiction about Dracula. And she would something the repasser. Oh, I think. Yeah. Go. My girl is so excited because Setheroni just got home early. She wrote a romantic fanfiction about Dracula that was so steamy. Oh, that was so steamy, Tori. That the iron press couldn't take it. From now on, the only time I'm going to talk about fanfiction, steamy fanfiction, I'm going to call it an iron press, because that is hilarious. I'm sorry. Oh my god. But yeah, no, we're definitely going to be skipping this this history lesson, darling. I ain't dealing with it. No lo quiero, no lo quiero, no lo quiero. And as young Sir, the Zekalins and Dracula of their heart's blood, their brains, their swords, can boast a record that the mushroom growth, like the Happisburg and the Romanovs, can never reach. The warlike days are now over. Blood is too precious a thing in these days of dishonorable peace, and the glories of the great races are a tale of told. Oh, the sweet Gaga. I know, she's so happy. It was by this time, close to morning, that we finally went to bed. Memo. This diary seems horribly like in the beginning of the Arabian Nights, where everything has to have a break-off of the cock's crow, or like the ghost of Hamlet's father. I can't believe that he is, like, critiquing his diary entries. That's crazy. 1 second. Oh my god. That, I don't know where that came from. I'm gonna drink some water. Oh my lord. Yeah, even the Irish Victorians didn't escape the casual racism. Yeah. Hi, Vixen. Hi, darling. You know the ghost of Christmas Past from Christmas Carol? Nah, it's Gracie, the ghost of Simpson. Simpsons. Okay. 12th of May. Let me begin with the facts, bare, meager facts, verified by books and figures, and of which there can be no doubt are certain. I must not confuse them with the experiences that with which have been resting on my own observation, or of my memory. Last evening, when the Count came from his room, he began by asking me questions on legal matters, and on the doing of certain kinds of business. Well, I had spent the day wearily over the books, and simply kept my mind occupied, and went over some of the matters that I had examined at Lincoln's Inn. There was a certain method in the court's inquiries, so I'll try to put them in sequence. The knowledge may somehow or of some time be useful to me. First, he asked if a man in England might have 2 solicitors or more. I told him that he might have a dozen if he so wished, but that it would not be wise to have more than 1 solicitor engaged in one transaction, as only one could act at a time, and that to change would be certain to militate against his interest. He seemed thoroughly to understand, and went on to ask if there would be any particular practice in having one man to attend, say, to banking, and another to shipping, in case local help were needed in a place far from the home of the banking solicitor. Well, I asked him to explain more thoroughly, so that I might not have any chance be able to mislead him, and he said, "Oh, what cute little." Oh, those are so cute. I love them. Gosh, y'all's emotes are always so cool looking. I am clearing my throat so much. I don't know why. I should just keep drinking water. Okay. Oh, that's so much better. Well, first he asked if the man in... Wait, huh? Oh, so that I might not mislead him. I shall illustrate. Your friend and mine, Mr. Peter Hawkins, from under the shadow of the beautiful cathedral.
Another one.
Oh, thank you, Lazy. Oh. Do you guys want a wagging tail emote? I'll make you one. I love it so much. That's so cute. Oh, I love them so much. But yes, Mr. Peter Hawkins lives in the shadow of the beautiful cathedral, which is far from London. He's busy for me through your good self in my place in London. Now, let me say frankly, lest you should think it strange that I have sought the services of one so far off from London instead of one resident here, that my main motive was that no local interest might be served, say my only wish. We need a Gracie? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay, I will write that down. Gracie. Tail. Wag. There we go. Oh my god. Oh. Gracie has Nicolas Cage slapping me. Gracie's cute is super hard. Hardcore. But yes, I went thus afield to seek my agent, whose labors should be only to my interest. Now, suppose I, who have much in the way of affairs, might not be it that I could... How? Who have much in the way of affairs, wish to ship goods, say to Newcastle or Durham or Harwich or Dover, might it not be that I could more easily do this by co-signing one of these into the report? Well, I answered that certainly it could be most easy, but that we solicitors had a system of agency from one another. And local work could be done locally on instruction of any solicitor, so that any client simply placing himself in the hands of one man could have all of his wishes carried out by him without further trouble. Don't ship me to Boston. Oh, I won't survive there. Northerners are supposed to be rude, and I'm a southern girl. I don't think I can handle it. Well, but could I at liberty direct myself? Is that not so? Well, of course, such is often done by men of business who do not like the whole of their affairs to be known by any one person. Good. And then he went on to ask all means of making co-assignments, and the forms have gone through, and all sorts of things. Oh. And I explained all of these things to him the best of my abilities, and he certainly left me under the impression that he would have had made a wonderful solicitor, if there was nothing for that he didn't think of or foresee. But for a man who was never in the country and who did not evidently do much in the way of business, his knowledge and acumen were wonderful for London. When he had satisfied himself on these points with which he had spoken, and I verified all of these as well, I lost my place. 1 second. When he satisfied himself on all of these points with which he had spoken, and I verified all of these as well that I could for the books available, he suddenly stood up and said, "Have you written since your first letter to our friend Mr. Peter Hawkins, or to any other?" Well, it was with some bitterness in my heart that I answered no, I had not, and that as yet I had not seen any opportunity to send letters to anybody. Write now, my friend. He laid a heavy hand on my shoulder. Write to our friend and to any other, and say, if it pleases you, that you shall stay with me until a month from now. You wish me to stay so long? My heart grew cold at the thought. I desire it much. Nay, I will take no refusal. When your master, employer, what you will, engaged that someone should come on his behalf, it was understood that my needs only were to be consulted. I have not stinted. Is that not so? Well, what could I do but bow in acceptance? It was Mr. Hawkins' interest, not mine, that I had to think of him, not myself, and, well, besides, Count Dracula was speaking. There was that in his eyes, and that in his bearing, which made me remember that I was but a prisoner here, and that, if I wished it, I could have no other choice. The Count saw his victory in my bow, and his mastery in the trouble of my face, for he began at once to use them, but in his own smooth, resistless way. You getting rizzed up by this old man? Come on now. Come on now. You are a knowing prisoner. Get over yourself. Get out. Get out. Well, I pray that you, my good young friend, will not discourse of things other than business in your letters. It is doubtlessly pleasing of your friends to know that you are well and that you look forward to getting home to them. Is that not so? You know, someone told me that Twitch was supposed to be a lot better at getting, what's that word? was much better at getting rid of things, but I have yet to see it. Boop. Yeah. Gross. I'm gonna put a bunch of emotes in chat till it goes away. Good, 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 good. We will set this world ablaze. It is what we're deserving. And my little girl. Okay, there you go. Is it off? Oh, it's almost off the screen. I'll let you guys do the last one. Yes, we boo. Boo. Hmm? Boo. There we go. Okay, boo. Okay. Well, I was determined to write only formal notes, but to write fully to Mr. Hawkins in secret, and also to Nina. For her, I could write in shorthand, which would puzzle the Count if he did ever see it. When I had finished writing my 2 letters, I sat quietly reading a book while the Count wrote several different notes, referring as he wrote them to books on his table. He finally stood up with my 2 and placed them in his own, and put by which his writing materials, after which, the instant the door had closed behind him, I leaned over and looked at the letters, which were face down on the table. I felt no compunction in doing so, for under the circumstances, I felt that I should protect myself in every which way possible. Yes, we should shame them. Where's the bell of shame? Ding, 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 ding. My girl? Oh, girl. Who's my little dog? Little puppy? Little girl? Hi. Big girl. Big puppy. I love her. Okay, so for one of the... Oh, oh. What was I saying? Oh, yes. For one of the letters was directed to a Samuel F. Billington, and the third was to Coutts and Co. of London, and another to Herr Lieutenant of Varna, and the fourth and final to Herrn Klopstock and Bilbrook, bankers. 2 of them were unsealed, and I was just about to look at them when I saw the door handle move. I sank back into my seat quickly, having just enough time to resume my book before the Count, holding still a letter in his hand, entered the room. He took up the letters on the table and stamped them carefully before turning to me and saying, "I trust that you will forgive me, but I have much work to do in private this evening. You will, I hope, find all things as you wish." We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. I wanted to try it just once, and I don't think my Dracula is up to snuff. You know, I don't think it's up to snuff. Please let me advise you, my dear friend. Nay, let me warn you with all seriousness that should you leave these rooms, you will not by any chance go to sleep in any other part of the castle. It is very It is very old and has many memories, and there are very bad dreams for those who sleep unwisely. Be warned, should you sleep now, or ever overcome you, or be like to do so, then hasten to your chamber, or to these rooms, for your rest will then be safe. But, if you do not be careful, why then, he crept forward, motioning with his hands as if washing them, and I quite understood. My only doubt was as to whether any dream could be more terrible than the unnatural, horrible way in which he seemed to close in on me. Hello, again. Is this what it means? Good news, the novel of the thing was based on. It's not public domain, but H.P. Lovecraft's work are. They're... Oh, yay! We can have even more! Yay! Oh, that's so exciting. Okay, well, let's see. Where am I? There I am. Yes, much later I endeavored to the last words written, but this time there is no doubt in my mind. I should not fear to sleep in any place where he is not. I have placed the crucifix over the head of my bed, and I imagine that my rest will just thus be freer from dreams, and therefore I shall be able to remain asleep. When he left me, I went to my room, and after a little while of not hearing any other sound, I came out and went up the stony staircase to where I could look out towards the south. How, my girl? Do you wanna leave? You wanna leave? I'm gonna let her out. I'll be right back. Meow. Oh, you what? Oh, that was much louder than I thought. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh my lord. I am so sorry. That was my girl. She's so scary. My bad. The bark scared me. Yes, the bark scared me too. I'm sorry. I thought she was gonna do her little gentle woof. But it was not. My bad. I'm sorry. Very, very sorry. There was some sense of freedom in the vast experience. It was inaccessible though it was, and as compared with the narrow darkness of the courtyard, as I looked out onto it, I felt as if I was indeed in prison. And I seemed to want a breath of fresh air, even though it was the night. I'm beginning to feel this nocturnal existence is falling upon me. It's destroying my nerves. I stare at my own shadow, and I'm full of all sorts of horrible imaginings. Oh God, what must there be in the ground of my terrible fear for this accursed place? I look out over the beautiful expanse, bathed in soft yellow moonlight, till it was almost as light as day. And in the soft light of the distant hills, as they melted away in the shadows in the valleys and gorges of velvety blackness, why, that beauty seemed to cheer me up. There was peace and comfort in every breath that I drew, and as I leaned over the window, I caught with my eye something moving a story below me, somewhat to my left, where I imagined from the order of the rooms that the windows of the Count's own room would probably look out right about there. The window at which I stood was tall and deep, stone mullion, and though weather-worn, it was very much complete. But it was evident that many a day had passed since the case had been there. I drew back behind the stonework and looked carefully out. What I saw was the Count's head coming out of his window, and I didn't see the face, but I knew the man by the neck and the movement of his back and the arms, and in any case I could not mistake those hands for which I had so many opportunities to study. I was at first interested and somewhat amused. It was wonderful of a small matter with which to interest and amuse a man where he is a prisoner. But my very feelings changed to repulsion and terror when I saw the whole man slowly emerge from the window and begin to crawl down the side of the castle. His face down, his cloak spread out around him like great big wings. At first, I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought that it was some kind of trick of the moonlight, some weird effect of the shadow, but as I kept looking, there could be no delusion. I saw the fingers and toes grasping the corners of the stones worn clear from the mortar, and thus, using every projection and inequality, moved downwards with considerable speed, just as a lizard moving along a wall. Oh my God. He scuttles. Oh my God. I'm thinking of Zoidberg, you know. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my lordy lord. Oh no. Oh no. But what manner of man is this? Of what manner of creature? It is in the semblance of a man. I'm encompassed with terror, and I dare not think of it. And there's no escape for me. There's no fear, and awful fear is taking hold of me. May 15th, the next day. Once more I had seen the Count go out in his lizard fashion. He moved downwards at a sidelong way some 100 feet down, a good deal to the left. He vanished into some hole or window, and when his head had disappeared, I leaned out to try and see more, but to no avail. The distance was too great to allow a proper angle of sight, and I knew he had left the castle now, and as though to use the opportunity to explore more, I dare not do as yet. I went back to my own room, and took the lamp, trying all of the doors, and they were all locked as I had suspected, and the locks were comparatively new. But I went down the stone stairs to the hall where I'd entered originally, and I found that I could pull back the bolts easily enough and unhook the great big chains. But the door was locked, and the key was gone. The key must be in the Count's room, and I must watch should his door be unlocked, so that I may get away and escape. I went on to make a thorough examination of the various stairs and passages, and to try the doors and open from them. 1 or 2 small rooms near the hall were open, but there was nothing to see in them except for old furniture, dusty with age and moth-eaten. Confirmed, who goes there is not public, since Project Gutenberg doesn't have a copy of it. Oh, dang. There were 1 or 2 small rooms near the hall that were open, but there was nothing to see in them except for old furniture, dusty with age. I finally tried another door at the top of the stairway, and it wasn't really locked, but there was some resistance that came from the fact that the hinges had fallen somewhat. I exerted myself, and with many effort I was able to force it back so that I could enter. But I was now in a wing of the castle furthest to the right, and the rooms I knew had a story lower down. From the windows that I could see, there were many suites of rooms laying along the south of the castle. The windows of the end room were looking out both west and south. On the latter side, as there were on the former, there was a great precipice. The castle was built on the corner of a great rock, and the 3 sides of which were impregnable. They were impregnable. They were not breedable. I'm sorry, I'll stop. But this was evidently the portion of the castle occupied by ladies and by... ladies? So it is pregnable. Sorry. The furniture had more an air of comfort than I had seen in any other. The windows were curtainless, and the yellow moonlight flooded in through the diamond panes, and it enabled one to see every color imaginable. Although softened and through the wealth of dust which lay over all of the disguised ravages of time and moth, my lamp seemed to be of little effect in the brilliant moonlight. But I was glad to have it with me. There was dreadful loneliness in the place, and it chilled my heart to the bone. Oh. And still, it was better than living alone in the rooms with which I had come to hate from the very presence of the Count. And here I am sitting at a little oak table, where in the old times it was possible for some fair lady to sit and pen a letter, or pen a diary. It is the 19th century up to date with a vengeance now, and yet, unless my senses deceive me, the older centuries had and have powers of their own, which where modernity cannot kill. Later, the very next morning, God preserve my sanity, for this is all I am reduced to. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past. While I live here, there is but one thing to hope for, and it's that I may not go mad, if indeed I be not mad already. The Count is the least dreadful to me, for that him alone I can look for safety, even though this be the only one that I can serve his purpose. O great merciful God, let me be calm, for out of that may lie madness indeed. I begin to get new lights on certain things which have puzzled me. Up until now, I never quite knew what Shakespeare meant when he made Hamlet say, "My tablets, quick, my tablets! 'Tis meet that I may put them down." For now, feeling as though my own brain were unhinged, as if the shock had come from which must end upon its undoing, I turned to my diary for repose. The Count's mysterious warning frightened me at the time, and it frightens me more, not from when I think of it, but for in the future he has a fearful hold upon me. A fear to no doubt that he must say what he must say. When I had written in my diary, that fortunately replaced the book and pen in my pocket, that I felt sleepy. The Count's warning came into my mind, but I took pleasure in disobeying it. Oh? You like to disobey? You brat? I see. I see. But the soft moonlight soothed me, and the wide expanse without any sense of freedom refreshed me even so. I determined not to return tonight to the gloomy haunted rooms, but instead to sleep here where the old ladies might have sat and sung and lived their sweet lives while their gentle breasts were sad, for the menfolk were away in the midst of remorseful wars. You got that sad titty? I'm sorry. I mean, can you... I'm sorry, but Mr. Stoker, I don't think... I understand that breast was like a word that you could replace with heart, but still, come on now. Okay, sorry, I'm a child. Jesus. Okay. I drew a great couch out of its place near the corner, and I laid down, looking at the lovely view of the east and south, unthinking and uncaring for the dust. Well, I suppose I must have fallen asleep. I hope so, but I also fear that what followed was startlingly real, and I cannot in the least believe that it was all sleep. I think it was all dreams. It's a better word, but whatever. Imagine steak in vodka sauce. Yes. Oh my god, yes. Vodka pasta, but with steak instead of chicken. Whew. Okay, I was not alone. The room was the same, unchanged in any way since I came into it. But in the moonlight opposite me were 3 young ladies. Ladies by which their dress and manner, and I thought at the time that I must be dreaming. But slowly they came closer to me, and they looked at me for some time before whispering together. 2 were dark and had high, aquiline noses, just like the Count, with great dark piercing eyes that seemed to be almost red when contrasted with the pale yellow of the moon. The other was fair as can be, with the great masses of golden hair and eyes like pale sapphires. I seemed to somehow know her face, and to know in which connection. It was some dreamy fear, but I could not recollect at the moment of how or where. All 3 had brilliant white teeth that shone like pearls against the ruby of their voluptuous lips. But I felt in my heart a wicked, burning desire that they would kiss me with those red lips. It is not good to note this down, lest someday it would meet Mina's eyes and cause her pain, but it's the truth. Men ain't shit. Come on now. You get turned on by Dracula's mustache, and now you want to kiss hot lady lips, you know? I would say that I'm disappointed in you, but like, same to an uncomfortable degree. Like, ooh. It was like the intolerable tingling sweetness of water glass. Wait, huh? Oh, they whispered together, and then they all laughed, and it was intolerable. Tingling sweetness like water glasses were playing on by a cunning hand, and the fair girl shook her head coquettishly, while the other 2 urged her on. Go on, you are first and we shall follow. Yours is the right to begin. He's young and strong, there are kisses for us all. I laid quiet, looking out from under my lashes in an agony of delightful anticipation. You're a cheater. Ooh. Oh, Johnny boy, you motherfucker. Sweet it was, in one sense, honey sweet, and the scent of the same tingling through my nerves as her voice, but with a bitter underlying sweetness, a bitter offensiveness, and one that smells of blood. I was afraid to raise my eyelids, but I looked out and saw perfectly under the lashes. The girl went onto her knees, bent over me, gloating. There was a deliberate voluptuousness in which both thrilling and repulsive, and as she arched her neck, she actually licked her lips like an animal, till I could see in the moonlight the moisture shining on her scarlet lips, on the red tongue lapping at white teeth. Lower and lower her head went, and the lips below the range of my mouth and chin and seemed to fasten onto my throat. She paused and I could hear the churning sound of her tongue as it licked her teeth and lips, and I could feel the hot breath on my neck. Then the skin of my throat began to tingle like one's flesh does when your hand that is to tickle it approaches nearer and nearer and nearer, and I could feel the soft shivering touch of her lips on my super sensitive skin, the hard dents of 2 sharp teeth just barely touching and pausing. Oh, I closed my eyes in languorous ecstasy, and I waited with bated breath and beating heart. Oh my god. The homoeroticism is everywhere. Get used to it. I know. Oh my god. Girl, get your man. Snatch his weave. Get that man. Lock him up. Jail. Jail for Johnny. But at that instant, another sensation swept through me, so quick it was as if it was lightning. I was conscious of the presence of the Count, and as my eyes opened involuntarily, I saw his strong hand grasp the slender neck of the fair woman, and with giant power drew back her body. Blue eyes transformed in fury, white teeth chomping in rage, fair cheeks blazing red in passion. Oh, but the Count, never did I imagine such wrath and fury, even to demons of the pit. His eyes were blazing, red light was lucrid, and as the flames of hell fire blazed behind them, his face was deathly pale. The lines of it were hard, like drawn wires. The thick eyebrows that met over the nose seemed like a heaving bar of white-hot metal. It was the same imperious gesture that I had gotten used to with the wolves. In a voice so low, almost a whisper, he seemed to cut through the air. Ringing right into the room, he said, "You ready? How dare you touch him, any of you? How dare you cast your eyes on him when I had forbidden it? Back, I tell you all, this man belongs to me. Beware how you meddle with him, or you'll have to deal with me." Oh my. Swoon. The fair girl, with a laugh of coquetry? "You yourself have never loved, you never love." And the other women joined in with mirthless, hard, soulless laughter ringing about the room. The Count turned after looking at my face and said in a soft whisper, "Yes, I too can love. You yourselves can tell it from the past. Is that not so? I promise you that when I am done with him, you shall kiss him at your own will. But be gone, go, I must awaken him, for there is much work to be done." "Are we to have nothing tonight?" said one of them with a low laugh, as though she pointed to the bag he had thrown upon the ground. One of the women jumped forward, opening it. If my ears didn't deceive me, there was a gasp, a low wail, and as that of a smothered child. The women closed round, and while I was aghast in horror, but I looked, and there disappeared with them the dreadful bag. Oh my god. He fed a child. I know. They're yeah. You know, get you a man. This is gonna be some crazy shit. Ready? Get you a man who will share you with his 3 wives after he's done with you. I mean, I'm not gonna say no. I won't say no. Who would say no in their right mind? Tell me. Who among you? Well, the horror, it all overcame me, and so I sank down into unconsciousness. Chapter 4. I awoke in my own bed. If it had been that I had not dreamt, the Count must have carried me here. To be sure, there were certain small evidences that I was definitely not in my room all night. First, my watch was unwound, and I am rigorously accustomed to winding it in the last thing before I go to bed, and many such other such small details. But these things are no proof, for they may have been other evidences that my mind was not as usual. Of one thing I am glad, it is that the Count carried me here and undressed me, and must have hurried in his task, for my pockets are still intact. Otherwise, I am sure this diary would have been a mystery to him, with which he would no doubt have brooked. Oh, he would have peeped. He would have been a peeper. He's an old man. Ew. I mean, does he look like an old man? If he looks like an old man, I mean, I'm a grandma, you know? I think the largest age gap I've ever had was 13 years. That's not too bad, you know? I mean, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Let me go back. As I look around the room, although it had been to me full of fear, it is now a sort of sanctuary. For who here would wait to drink my blood? Oh, 2 days later. May 18th.
No!
No! Wait, 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Oh. Why? ¿Por qué no? Oh. I mean, I understand. I love how there was an automatic suspension on your comment because it said old looking woman. As if me calling myself grandma wasn't like, you know. Okay, yes, May 18th, 2 days later. I must have been down to look at that room again in daylight, for I must know the truth. It had been so forcibly driven against the jamb. Wait, no. That's wrong. When I got down to the doorway at the top of the stairs, I found it closed. It had been forcibly driven against the jamb, so that part of the woodwork was splintered. I could see that the bolt of the lock had not been shot, but the door is fastened from the inside. And I fear that it was no dream. I must act upon the surmise. Yeah, again, I don't understand. That's crazy. We only shame the elderly when they're ancient vampires with bad intentions. Normal elders are fine. You know what? That's true. That's fair. That's fair. I'm fine because I'm not scary. Right? Right? Okay. May 19th. I'm surely in the toils. Last night the Count asked me in the suavest of tones to write 3 letters. One saying that my work here was nearly done and that I should start for home in a few days. And another that I was starting on the next morning from the time of the letter. And the third that I had left the castle and arrived at Bistritz. I would fain, having rebelled, but felt that in the present state of things it would be madness to quarrel openly with the Count. And to refuse would be to excite his suspicion and to arouse his anger. His anger, is that what you call it? Sorry. My only chance is to prolong my opportunities. Something may occur with which will give me a chance to escape. And I saw in his eyes something of that gathered wrath with which manifested when he hurled a fair woman away from us. Oh, I'm so popular. He explained to me that posts were few and uncertain. Hello. How do I mute something? I have forgotten. There must be a way. There must be a way. Mute server for 1 hour. There we go. Okay. I think that'll do it. I think so. I hope so. We'll see. Posts were few and uncertain, and my writing now would ensure ease of mind to my friends. He assured me with such impressiveness that he would countermand the latter letters, which would be held over at Bistritz until due time, in case such chance would admit of my prolonging stay, and to oppose him would have been to create new suspicion. I therefore pretend to fall into his views and asked him what dates I should put the letters. He calculated that the first will be June 12th, the second June 19th, and the third June 29th. I now know the span of my life. God help me. Bitch. Oh my god. Boy, you better leave. You better run. There's a chance of escape, or at any rate of being able to send word home. A band of Sizgani have come to the castle and are encamped in the courtyard. I note them in my book. They are peculiar in this part of the world, though allied with the ordinaries, and they are all over the world. There are thousands of them in Hungary and Transylvania, almost outside of the law. They are fearless and without religion, save superstition, and they talk only of their own varieties of the Romani tongue. I write some letters home, and I'll try to give them to them, to be posted. I've already spoken to them through my window to begin acquaintanceship. They took their hats off and made obeisance, and many signs, which, however, I could not understand any more than I could speak their language. I've written the letters. Mina's is in shorthand, and I simply ask Mr. Hawkins to communicate with her. To her I have explained my situation, but without the horrors with which I may only surmise. It would shock and frighten her to death were I to expose my heart to her. Should the letters not carry, then the Count shall not yet know my secret of the extent of my knowledge. I threw the letters down through the bars of my window with a gold piece, and made what signs I could to have them posted. The man who took them pressed them to his heart and bowed, and then put them in his cap. I could do no more. I stole back to the study and began to read, and as the Count did not come in, I write here. I know how to do it on mobile, but I forgot on PC. That's okay. I think I figured it out. I hope I figured it out. Who allows this for Pokemon? Who says? Who says? Da 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 da. You are not me. Who made you king of anything? And who says that you disagree? You are not me. Is that a song? That's a song. That's a song. That is definitely a song. I don't remember the song. Do you guys know the song? I have forgotten. I know that, but I can't think of any other lyrics in my brain. The Sizgani have given me these. Oh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, you guys. Suddenly the Count comes in. He sits down beside me, and in his smoothest voice, he opens 2 letters. The Sizgani have given me these, of which I thought, I know not from whence they come, but I shall of course take them. See? One is from you, and to my friend Peter Hawkins, and the other? The other is a vile thing, an outrage upon friendship and hospitality. It is not signed. Well, it cannot matter to us. He calmly held the letter, an envelope in a flame of the lamp, until they were consumed. The letter to Hawkins I shall of course send on, since it is yours. Your letters are sacred to me. Your pardon, my friend, I unknowingly broke the seal. Will you not cover it again? I could only redirect it and hand it to him in silence. When he went out of the room, I could hear the key turn softly. A minute later, I went over and tried the door, but it was locked. In an hour or two, the Count came quietly into the room, and his coming awakened me. I had gone to sleep on the sofa. He was very courteous and very cheerful, and seeing that I had been sleeping, he said, "My friend, are you tired? You should get to bed. It is the surest of rests. I may not have the pleasure of talk tonight, since there are many labors to me, but I pray that you will fall asleep." I passed the room and went to bed, and strange to say, I slept without dreaming. Despair has its own calms, I'm sure. Oh no. Hi Nubia. Hi, darling. Mwah. I hope you have a wonderful sleep. We're reading Count Dracula, and he is definitely trying to get poor Johnny Boy murdered. May 30th. Wait, when was the last one? May 28th, and before that, May 19th. There was like a whole week. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Okay. Free kisses for me? Of course. Absolutely. I must kiss Nubia. Kisses for her cheeks. Where is I? Oh yeah. May 31st. This morning when I awoke, I thought that I would provide myself with some papers and envelopes for my bag that I keep in a pocket. But, to my surprise and shock, every scrap of paper was gone, along with all my notes, my memoranda relating to the railways and travel, my letter of credit, in fact, anything that might be useful to me that was once outside the castle. I sat and pondered a while, and then some thought occurred to me as I searched my portmanteau and in the wardrobe where I had placed my clothes. The suit in which I had traveled was gone, along with my overcoat and a rug. I could find no trace of them anywhere. It seems like there was a new scheme of villainy afoot. Count Chocula's unadvertising cousin? Yeah. Imposter. Imposter. Who's an imposter? Not me. Doo-doo. June 17th. Oh no. 2 weeks. This morning, as I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, I'm racking my brains, hearing without a crackling of whips and pounding and scraping of horses' feet upon the rocky path beyond the courtyard. With joy, I hurry to the window and see a drive into the yard of 2 great wagons, each drawn by 8 sturdy horses, and at the head of each pair a Slovak with wide hats, great nail-studded belts, dirty sheepskins, and high boots. They had also with them long staves in hand. I ran to the door, intending to descend and try to join them, as I thought that way might be opened to them for the main hall. But shock. My door was fastened to the outside. I ran to the window and cried to them, and they looked up at me stupidly and pointing, but just then the hetman of the Sisgani came out, seeing them pointing to my window, and said something at which they laughed. Henceforth no effort of mine, no piteous cry or agonizing entreaty would make them even look at me. Oh? Sorry. I was adjusting my my sleeping pants, and it went like thunk. Vent Drac out the airlock now. Yeah, he's about to kill Johnny. Although Johnny is an adulterer. If anything, Raven's Gracie, impossible to crack down. If anything, Raven Gracie's impossible to crack down. Thanks. Oh yes. They were resolute in turning away from me. Evidently empty were square boxes and handles of thick rope. But the Slovaks handled them with care, and by their resonance they were roughly They were moved thusly. When they were all unloaded and packed into a great heap in one corner of the yard, the Slovaks were given some money by the Sisgani, and spitting on it for good luck, lazily went to the horse head. Shortly after, I heard the cracking of the whips into the distance. What? What? Oh no. Okay. June 24th, 5 days later. Last night the Count left me early, locking himself into his own room. As soon as I dared, I ran up to the winding stairs, looked out of the window which opened south, and I thought that I would watch for the Count, for there is something going on. The Sisgani were quartered somewhere in the castle, doing some kind of work. I know it, for now and then I hear a faraway muffled sound of a mattock and spade, and whatever it is, it must be the end of some ruthless villainy. I had been sat at the window somewhat less than half an hour, but when I saw something coming out of the Count's window, I drew back and watched carefully, for I saw the whole man emerge through. It was a new shock to me to find that he had on the suit of clothes which I had worn. Oh, thanks.
Thanks.
I'm glad you came along. Partner. Hi. Where is I? Oh, yes. He drew over his shoulder a terrible bag with which I had seen the women take away. There could be no doubt as to his quest, and in my robes, too. This is his new scheme of evil, that which with he will allow no others to be seen as they see me, and they think that he may both leave evidence that I may be seen in the towns and villages posting my own letters, and that any wickedness with which he may do shall be done by the locals, attributed to myself. Hi, cool moth of the hair. Thanks. Hi. I'm glad you like it. It's very crazy. Where's I? Oh, yes. Oh, I am in a deep rage to think of this. And while I shut myself up here a veritable prisoner, but without protection of the law with which even a criminal's right and consolation, damn it. I want it to look cool. Fed of it? It's so cool. I love that name. Like I'm fed up with it. Yeah. It is, yes. Where was I? Oh, yes. I thought that I would watch for the Count Dracula's return, and for a time I sat doggedly at the window. But I began to notice that there was quaint little specks of dust floating in the rays of the moonlight. They were gathering in clusters of nebulous sort of waves, and I watched them with a sense of soothing, a sort of calm stealing over me. I leaned back in the embrace, in a more comfortable position, so that I could enjoy more fully the aerial gambling. Oh, thanks, Joe Akinta. Thank you. Do you have anything you want me to do? Do you want me to give treats? Do you want me to compliment someone? Do you want me to say anything outrageous? Do you want to write a tweet? What would you like? Since you so generously donated. Oh, thank you. Oh, God, you're so sweet. Oh. I promise I am not unhinged on Twitter. I am very kind. That you can prove. Well, something made me start up with a low, piteous howling of the dogs somewhere far below the valley with which was hidden from my sight. Louder and louder it seemed to ring in my ears, and the floating motes of dust that had taken new shapes sound as they danced in the moonlight. Oh no. I felt myself struggling to awaken to some kind of call of my instincts. Nay, my very soul was struggling, and I half remembered the oh my god. The sensibilities that were striving to answer the call. I was becoming hypnotized. Kenta's the legend. Okay, send your treats. Watch this. Hi, my girl. You want some treats? Oh, what's that, dude? What's that, dude? Sorry, I'm still reading Dracula, but I'll come play soon. Hi. Treat for one. Alright, I'm gonna make her woof for the next one. Woof! Good girl. Oh, you're such a good girl. You wanna say thank you, Kenta? Oh, you gave me your paw. That's so kind, so gentle. I love you. Do you want to stay with me? Yeah. Oh, my little girl. You don't want to stay with Mommy? No? Oh, bye. Oh. Pupper gets well treats. All is right in the world. Absolutely. Next year for Halloween, can we get Dracula mode? I'm always Dracula. Don't you see? But also, I mean, can we just remind ourselves for a second what I am? You know? Besides a menace. Because, I mean, do I scream vampire to you? Is this the face of a vampire? Wait, one second. Let me... Oh. Okay. Let me get closer. Oh? Hello? That's not my face. But, let's remind ourselves, is this the face of a vampire? Do I scream blah 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 to you? I mean, I don't think so. I wouldn't think so. I'm a chimera. We are a chimera. As you can see, you are my little chimeras. You're always close to my heart. Thanks. She did the thing, she did the thing. I got in head patting range. I did. Thanks. But yes, you are my little chimeras. My little grandchildren. Mis chiquitos angelitos hermositos. Oh. Hi. Okay. Is that big enough? Am I not? I can get a little bigger. Okay. Yay. Okay. Boop. And boop. And boop. Oh, español. Sí, enseño en español a mis estudiantes. Es para mi trabajo. Estoy una maestra de matemáticas y ciencias por mis estudiantes en español y en inglés. Pero a veces, cuando uso palabras que no sé, necesito traducir más despacio. Interesante, sí. Also, apologies for my terrible accent. My kids will often tell me that I sound like a Portuguese computer. And it's like, come on now. No worries, all thanks. You're awful in English too? Oh, no worries, no worries. I used to be a preschool teacher before I taught middle school and junior high, so don't even sweat it. Nobody speaks worse English than someone who's learning English for the first time. Don't even sweat it. We're all fine. Absolutely. That is so cute. The little fire. Fuego. Singing fuego, fuego. Oh, that's a Cheetah Girls song. I know it is. I have to look that up. I love that song. Okay. I was hypnotized. The moonbeams seemed to quiver as they went by me into the mass of the gloomy beyond. More and more they gathered until they seemed to take on dim phantom shapes. And there I stared, broad awake and in full possession of my eyes, and I ran screaming from the place. The phantoms with which were becoming gradually materialized from the moon were those three ghostly women to whom I was doomed. Oh no. Are you gonna try to cheat on your wife again? Well, a couple hours had passed and I heard something stirring in the Count's room. Something like a sharp wail that was quickly suppressed. With a fast beating heart, I tried the door, but it was locked, and I could do nothing, so I sat down and simply cried. As I heard the sound in the courtyard, without the agonizing cry of a woman, and I rushed to the window, throwing it open, peering through the bars. There indeed was a woman with disheveled hair holding her hands over her heart as one might be in distress while running. She was leaning against the corner of the gateway, and when she saw my face in the window, she threw herself forward, and shouting into the voice, with a voice laden with menace, "Monster, give me my child!" She drew herself onto her knees, raising up her hands, crying the same words in a tone with which wrung my heart. Until finally, she threw herself forward and I could not see her again. I could hear only the beating of her hands against the door. Somewhere high overhead, probably on the tower, I heard the voice of the Count, calling in his harsh, metallic whisper. His call seemed to be answered from far and wide with the howling of the wolves, until many minutes had passed, and a pack of them poured in like a pent-up dam that was finally liberated, and they entered through the wide courtyard. There was no cry of the woman. The howling of the wolves was very short, and before long they streamed away, licking their lips. However, I couldn't pity her. I knew not what had become of her child. And I knew that she was better dead. What can I do? What I shall fear? How can I escape this dreadful prison with which I am become? This time it's not so much cheating as long-term meal. Yeah. Forget DoorDash. Have a man just like stay in your home for a month. Jesus. June 25th. No man knows until he has suffered from the night how sweet and dear to his heart and eye the morning can be. Oh, my fear has fallen away from me as if it has been a vaporous garment with which dissolves into the warmth of the sun. I take action of some sort while the courage of the day is upon me. Last night, one of my post-dated letters went to the office, the first of that fatal series with which will the first of the fatal series with which will blow out the very traces of my existence from the earth. Let me not think of it. My action is what I must face now. It has always been that at night time I've been molested or threatened. Jesus Christ. I haven't seen the Count in the daylight. Can it be that he sleeps when others are awake, and he's awake while others sleep? If I could only see into his room. But there's no possible way. The door is always locked. The door is always locked. And there's no way for me to get in. The door is always locked, and there's no way for me to enter. Yes, there is a way. Oh, but yes, there is a way, if one dares to take it. Where his body has gone, why may not another body go? I have seen him crawl myself from the window. Why should I not imitate him and go in through the window as well? The chances are desperate, but my need is more desperate still. I must risk it. At the worst, it can only be death, and a man's death is not a calf's, and the dreaded hereafter may still be open to me. God help me in my task. Goodbye, Mina, if I shall fall. Goodbye, my faithful friend and second father. Goodbye, all, and at last of all, Mina otra vez. Same day, later. Wah, 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 wah. That is so cute. I love it. Some days later. I have made the effort, and God helping me, I have come safely back to this room. I have to put down every detail in order so that I may not forget it. The stones were big and roughly cut, and the mortar had, by the process of time, been washed away in between them. I had taken off my boots and ventured onto the desperate way. I looked down once, so as to make sure that a sudden glimpse of the awful depth would not overcome me. But after that I kept my eyes away from it. I know pretty well the direction and distance of the Count's window, and I made for it as well as I could, having regarded to the opportunities available. I didn't feel dizzy. I suppose I was too excited, and the time seemed ridiculously short, till I found myself standing on the windowsill and trying to raise up onto the sash. Finally, I bent down and slid my feet foremost in through the window, and I looked around for the Count, but with surprise and gladness, I made a discovery. The room was empty. It was barely furnished with very odd things which seemed to have never been used. It was in the same style as the other south rooms, covered in dust, and I looked for a key, but it wasn't in the lock and I couldn't find it anywhere. The only thing I found was a great heap of gold in one corner. Gold of all things, Roman, British, Austrian, Hungarian, Greek, Turkish, covered in a thin film of dust, as though it had laid long onto the ground. There were also chains and ornaments, some bejeweled, but all of them old and worn. I wonder what Dracula's doing to these people. You know? What do you think? What do you think? You know? Methinks something's going on. At one corner of the room was a heavy door. I tried it, for since I could not find the key of the room or the key of the outer door, which was my main objective for this search, and I made further examination, for all of my efforts would be in vain otherwise. I finally found something, an open stone passage with a circular stairway, steeping down slowly. I descended, minding carefully where I went. It was very dark, only lit by the loopholes in the heavy masonry. And at the bottom there was a dark, tunnel-like passage, which came to a deathly, sickly odor, the odor of old earth newly turned. At last I pulled open a heavy door, at which stood ajar, and I found myself in an old chapel, very much ruined, evidently been used as a graveyard. The roof of the chapel was broken in two places where steps were leading to vaults, but the ground had recently been dug over, the earth placed in great wooden boxes, manifestly those with which had been brought in by the Slovaks. There was no worry. There was no body about, and so I made my search on every inch of the ground so as not to lose a chance. I went down even into the vaults, where the dim light struggled, although to do so was a dread to my very soul. Into two of these I went, but saw nothing except for fragments of old coffins and piles of dust. In the third, however, I made a discovery. There, in one of the great boxes, which there were 50 in all, a pile of newly dug earth, lay the Count. He was either dead or asleep, and I could not say which, for the eyes were open and stony, but without the glassiness of death, and the cheeks were the warmth of life, though there were pallor. The lips were as red as ever, but there was no sign of movement, no pulse, no breath, no beating of the heart. I bent over him and tried to find any sign of life, but it was in vain. He couldn't have lain there for very long, for the earthy smell would have passed away in a few hours. By the side of the box was its cover, pierced with holes here and there. I thought he might have seen the keys on him, but when I went to search I saw dead eyes, and in them, the dead though they were, there was a look of hatred, as though unconscious to me or my presence, and so I fled from the place, leaving the Count's room by the window, crawling up against the castle wall once again. Regaining my room, I threw myself panting upon the bed, trying to think. The Count has you panting in bed? That's crazy. 29th of June, 2 more days later. Today is the day of my last letter, and the Count has taken steps to prove that it was genuine, for again I saw him leave the castle by the same window, and in my clothes. He went down the wall in his lizard fashion, and I had wished I had a gun of some lethal weapon so that I might destroy him. I dared not wait to see him return. I feared to see those weird sisters, and I came back to the library and read there till I fell asleep. I was awakened by the Count, who looked at me as grimly as any man could. Hi. Thanks. That last one made me yawn. Thanks. Okay. When they had gone, my carriage shall come for you, and it'll bear you to the Bordigo Pass to meet the diligence of the Bukovina of Bistries. I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula. I suspected him and determined to test his sincerity. And it seems like a profanation of the word to write in this connection with such a monster, so I asked him point blank, "Why can I not go tonight?" "Because, dear sir, my coachman and horses are away on a mission. I would walk with pleasure. I want to get away at once." He smiled with such a soothing, smooth, diabolical smile, and I knew there was a trick behind that smoothness. "And your luggage?" "I do not care about it. I can send for it some other time." You English have a saying with which is close to my heart. It is a spirit with which rules our boyars. Welcome the coming, speed the parting guest. Come with me, my dear young friend. Not an hour shall you wait in my house against your will, though sad I am at your going, and that you so suddenly desire it. Come along. Let us hark. Close at hand suddenly came the howling of many wolves, It was almost as if the sound sprang up from the rising of his hand, just as the music of a great orchestra seems to leap upon the baton of the conductor. After a pause, he proceeded, with a stately way to the door, drew back the ponderous bolts, and began to draw it open. To my intense astonishment, I saw that it was unlocked. Suspiciously, I looked around, but could see no key of any kind. As the door began to open, the howling of the wolves grew with greater and angrier, their red jaws, champing teeth, and blunt-clawed feet leaping about, coming in through the open door. I knew that to struggle at the moment against the Count was useless. With such allies as these as his command, I could do nothing. But still the door continued to slowly open, and only the Count's body stood in the gap. Suddenly it struck me that this might be the moment and the means of my doom. I was to be given to the wolves, and at my own instigation. Shut the door. I shall wait till morning. As I covered my face with my hands to hide my tears of bitter disappointment, with one sweep of his powerful arm, the Count shut the door soundly, great bolts clanging and echoing through the hall as they shot back into the place. In silence, we returned to the library. After a minute or two, I went to my own room. The last I saw of Count Dracula was his kissing of his hand to me, a red light of triumph in his eyes. Oh, hi, Mart. Hey. Hi. I hope you had fun with your stream. I hope there was no scuff. I hope everything went well. Oh, here, let me go ahead and shout you out. Before I forget, shout out Artemis Art _ 28. Oh? Ruh-roh. Hey. I'm glad you're having a good time. Unfortunately, Johnny Boy is having a bad time. I was in my room about to lie down when I thought I heard the whispering at my door. I went to it softly and listened, unless my ears deceived me. It was the voice of the Count. Oh, oops, I almost forgot. Back to your own place. Your time is not yet. Wait, have patience. Tonight is mine. Tomorrow night is yours. There was a low, sweet ripple of laughter, and in a rage I threw open the door and saw with it the three terrible women licking their lips. As I appeared, they all joined in a horrible laugh, running away. I came back into my room and threw myself onto my knees. It is then so near the end. Tomorrow, Lord, help me, those of whom I am dear. June 30th. Oh, thanks. You're so sweet. June 30th. These may be the last words I ever write in this diary. I slept till just before the dawn, and when I awoke, I threw myself onto my knees, for I determined that if death had come to me, he should find me ready. At last I felt oh my god, I'm stumbling. Blah blah. At last I felt the subtle change in the air. I knew that the morning had come. I came the welcome of the cock's crow, and I knew that I had felt I was safe. With a glad heart, I opened the door and ran down the hall, and with hands that trembled in eagerness, I unhooked the chains and threw back the massive bolts. But the door would not move. Despair seized me. I pulled and shook, and massive as it was, it rattled in its casement. I could see the bolt was shot. It had been locked after I left the Count. There was a wild desire that took me to obtain the key at any risk, and so I determined then that there is to scale the wall again and gain into the Count's room. He might kill me, but death has now seemed happier choice of the evils. I rushed up the east window, scrambled down the wall as before into the Count's room, and it was empty, but that was as I expected. I could see no key anywhere, but the heap of gold remained. I went through the door in the corner and down into the winding stairs and along the dark passage down to the old chapel. I knew now well enough where to find the monster that I sought. You dog, what are you doing? I know. The great box was the same place as always, close against the wall, but the lid was laid upon it, not fastened down, but with the nails ready in their places to be hammered home. I knew I must reach the body for the key, so I raised the lid and laid out back against the wall. Then I saw something with which filled my very soul with horror. There the lay Count. There lay the Count. But he looked as if his youth had been half restored. The white hair and mustache were changed to dark iron gray. The cheeks were fuller. The white skin seemed ruby red underneath. The mouth was redder than ever. Lips were gouts of fresh blood, with trickling from the corners of the mouth that ran down the chin and neck. It seemed as if the whole awful creature were simply gorged with blood. He lay with a filthy leech, exhausted from his repletion. I shuddered as I bent over to touch him, and every sense in me revolted at the contact, but I had to search or I would be lost. I felt all over the body, but there was no sign I could find of the key. I stopped, and I looked at the Count. There was a mocking smile on his bloated face, which seemed to drive me mad. This was the big blah 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 blah. Get stabbed, Drac. This was the beginning that I was helping to transfer to London. What? Oh. This was the being that I was helping transfer to London, where perhaps for centuries to come, he might amongst its teeming millions satiate his lust for blood, creating a new and ever-widening circle of semi-demons to batten them to the helpless. Oh, the very thought drove me mad. A terrible sense came upon me to rid the world of such a monster. There's no lethal weapon at hand, but I seized a shovel with which the workmen had been using, and lifted it high, struck with the edge downward at the hateful face. But as I did so, the head turned, its eyes falling upon me. Oh, with all the blazes of a basilisk's horror. The sight seemed to paralyze me. The shovel turned in my hand, glancing from the face, merely making a gash above the forehead. The shovel fell from the hand across the box, and I pulled it away from the flang of the blade, catching the edge of the lid, which fell over again, and hid the horrid thing from my sight. The last glimpse I had was of the bloated face, blood-stained and fixed with a grin of malice, which would have held its own into the nethermost of hell. Don't worry, he cannot combat the power of friendship. I think he's gonna die. Johnny's gonna die. Johnny's dying. I'm sorry, baby. He's darling, he ain't alive. I waited to hear, I thought and thought on what I should do next, but my brain seemed on fire. I waited with a despairing feeling growing over me. I heard in the distance a song sung by merry voices coming closer. Oh, thanks. So many. Hi. The Seasgani and the Slovaks with whom the Count had spoken of were coming near. With last looks around at the box with which contained the vile body, I ran from the place, gained into the Count's room, determined to rush out the moment the door should be opened. With straining ears I listened, and heard downstairs the grinding of the key in the great lock, the falling back of the heavy door. There must have been some other means of entry, or someone had a key for one of the locked doors. Then there came the sound of many feet, tramping and dying away in some passage with which sent up a clanging echo. At the moment, there seemed to be a violent puff of wind, and the door of the winding stair blew with it a shock that set the dust of the lintels flying. When I ran to push it open, I found that it was hopelessly fast. I was again a prisoner, and the net of doom was closing round me once more. I've never seen any Dracula movie adaptations, have you? I don't think so. Every Hiro Mashima anime work? Oh. Ruh-roh. As I write there in the passage below, a sound of many tramping feet and crashing weights being sent down heavily, doubtlessly the boxes with their freight of earth. I can hear the heavy feet tramping along the hall, many other idle feet coming down behind them. The door is shut, the chains are rattling, there's a grinding of the key in the lock. I can hear the key withdrawn, and then another door opens and shuts. I hear the creaking of the lock and bolt. Oh, hark in the courtyard and down the rocky wall is the heavy wheels, the cracking of whips, the chorus of Seasgani as they pass into the passage. I was alone in the castle with those horrid women. Oh, Mina is a woman, and there is naught in common. These are but the devils of the pit. I shall not remain alone with them. I shall try to scale the castle wall farther than I have ever yet attempted. I'll take some piece of gold with me, unless I want it later. I'll find a way from this dreadful place. and then away for home, away to the quickest and nearest of trains, and away from the cursed spot for this cursed land where the devil and his children still walk the earth fresh and with earthly feet. At least God's mercy is better than that of those monsters, and the precipice is steep and high, and as it is, a man may sleep as any man should. Goodbye all. Oh, Mina. Chapter 5. Letter from Miss Mina Murray to Miss Lucy Westerna. Let's see, how long is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Okay. 9th of May. Hugh Jackman played Van Helsing. I do remember that one. Gracie, why are you so heckin' cute and amazing? Why are you so wonderful? I have such amazing grandchildren. Y'all are so wonderful, so sweet. Oh, to lay a hand upon those cheeks. Anthony Hopkins played Van Helsing in an older adaptation. Ooh, Keanu Reeves? I have to watch it. I'm gonna look at it tonight. My dearest Lucy, forgive me my long delay in writing, but I have been simply overwhelmed with work. The life of an assistant school mistress is sometimes very trying, I'm afraid. I long to be with you, by the sea where we can talk together freely and build our castles in the air. I've been working very hard lately because I want to keep up with Jonathan's studies, and I've been practicing shorthand very assiduously. When we are married, I shall be able to use perfect shorthand. And if I can stenograph, well, enough I can take down what he wants to say in this way and write it out to him for a typewriter, with which I am also practicing very hard. He and I sometimes write letters in shorthand, and he is keeping a stenographic journal for his travels. When I am with you, I shall keep a diary in the same way. I don't mean for one of those 2 pages to the week within the Sunday squeezing in a corner's diary, but a sort of journal with which I can write in whenever I feel inclined. I don't suppose there will be much of interest to other people, but it is not intended for them. I may show it to Jonathan some day, if there isn't anything worth sharing. But it's really an exercise book. I'll try to do what I can see of ladylike conversations. I'm told that with a little bit of practice, one can remember all that goes on in the hours of the day. However, we shall see. I will tell you of my little plans when we meet. I have just a few hurried lines from Jonathan to Transylvania. He's well and will be returning in about a week. I'm longing to hear all about his news. It must be a right sight to see such strange countries. I wonder if Jonathan and I, shall ever meet them together. There is the 10 o'clock bell. Goodbye, your loving Mina. A Texan cowboy. I'm not blushing. I can't help myself. I'm a Texan girl. Can you blame me? You can't blame me. I won't hear of it. Tell me all the news when you write. You've not told me anything for a long time. I hear rumors, and especially of a tall, handsome, curly-haired man. Ooh. Is that the man? Andy Samberg ain't Johnny? Adam Samberg as Johnny? Texan cowboy means you gotta do the accent. Oh, absolutely, darling. Lucy to Mina. Wednesday. My dearest Mina. I must say you tax me very unfairly with being a bad correspondent. I wrote you twice since we parted, and your last letter was only your second. Besides, I have nothing to tell you. There's really nothing of interest. Town is very pleasant, and we do a great deal to picture galleries and walks and rides in the park, and as to the tall, curly-haired man, I suppose it was the one who was with me at the last pop. Someone has evidently been telling tales. It was Mr. Holmwood. He often comes to see me, as he and Mama get on very well together, and they have so many things to talk about that are in common. Jake Referalta is Johnny from Hotel Transylvania? Oh. Ooh. We met some time ago, a man that would just do for you if you were not already engaged to Jonathan. He's an excellent party, being handsome, well off, of good birth. He's a doctor, very clever, just fancy. He's only 19. He's only 9 and 20, and he has an immense lunatic asylum. All under his own care. He's... Ooh. Girl, if he's an asylum care worker, you don't want him. You do not want him. It's the second project he played Adam Sandler's kid. Oh, cool. Mr. Holman introduced me to him, and he called me here to see us, and often comes now. I think he's one of the most resolute men I've ever seen, and yet the most calm. He seems absolutely imperturbable. I can fancy what a wonderful power he must have over his patients. Ooh. 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 Girl. No. He tries very much to be with me, but I flatter myself that he has a tough nut to crack. I know that from my glass. Do you ever try to read your own face? I do, and I can tell you it is not a bad study, and gives you more trouble than you can well fancy if you have never tried it. Girl literally said, have you looked in a mirror lately? I have, and it is bangin'. Oh my god. He says that I can afford him a curious psychological study, and I humbly think that I might. However, I do not take sufficient interest in dressing fancily with all these new fashions. It's a bore. That's slang again, but never you mind. Arthur says that every day. Well, it's all out now, Mina. We have told all of our secrets to each other since we were children. We've slept together and eaten together and laughed and cried together, and now, though I have spoken, I would like to speak more.
I just wanted to say...
thank you.
Thanks.
Ayakashi.
I'm glad you came along.
Ayakashi.
Partner.
Onibi. Oni. Are you a type of demon? We're reading about demons, wicked men, wicked women, evil temptresses, Count Dracula. But hi. I'm blushing as I write, for although I think he loves me, he hasn't told me so in words. But oh, Mina, I do love him. I love him so. I wish I were you, dear, sitting by the fire, undressing. Huh? Girl? Huh? Sapphic? Hello? Hi? Sapphic? I wish that I were you, my dear, sitting by the fire and undressing, as we used to sit, and I would try to tell you what I feel. Oh. Oh. A little bi? She likes a guy. Oh. I hope it goes there, but I don't know if it will. I'm afraid to stop or I shall tear at this letter, and I don't want to stop, for I do not want to tell you all of it over words. Please let me hear from you at once and tell me what you think about it. Mina, please, I pray for your happiness. P.S. I need not tell you this is the secret. Good night again. Love, Lucy. To Lucy, May 24th. From Lucy, May 24th. My dearest Mina, thanks and thanks and thanks again for your sweet letter. It was so nice to be able to tell you and to have your sympathy. My dear, it never rains, but it pours. How true the old proverbs are. Here I am, who shall be 20 in September, and yet I have never had a proposal till today, not a real one, and today I had 3. 3 proposals in one day. Isn't it just awful? I mean, I feel sorry, really and truly sorry, for 2 of the poor fellows. Oh, Mina, I am so happy that I don't know what to do with myself, and 3 proposals? Oh, but goodness sake. Oh, and add in 3, 2, 1. Please don't tell any of the girls, or they'd be getting all sorts of extravagant ideas, and imagining themselves injured and slighted, if in vain, for their very first day at home. Some girls are so vain. You and I, Mina dear, we are engaged and going to settle down soon into old married women and despise vanity. Well, I must tell you about these 3, but you must keep it a secret, dear, from everyone except, of course, your dear Jonathan. I'm fine that you can tell him, because I would if I were in your place. Certainly tell Arthur. A woman ought to tell her husband everything, don't you think so? And I must be fair. Men like women, certainly their wives, must be quite fair as they are. And women, I'm afraid, are not always quite as fair as they should be. Oh. She's not a girl's girl. The ad was not super effective on Justin because he's a subscriber. My dear, number 1 came just before lunch. And I told you to him. Dr. John Stewart, the lunatic asylum man with the strong jaw and the good forehead. He had evidently been schooling himself to all sorts of little things and remembered them, but he also managed to sit down with a silk hat, which men don't generally do if they are cool. And he wanted to appear at ease. He kept playing with the lancet in a way that made me nearly scream. He told me how dear I was to him, though he had known me so little, and was his and what his life would be like to have me with it, to help and cheer him up. He was going to tell me how unhappy he would be if I didn't care for him, but when he saw me cry, he said he was a brute and wouldn't add to my present troubles. Oh, Mina, I felt sort of duty to tell him that there was someone else. I only told him as much, and then he stood up, said he looked very strong and very grave, and he took both of my hands in his and said he hoped that I could be happy, and that if I ever wanted a friend, I must count on him as one of the best. Oh, Mina dear, I can't help but cry. You must excuse this letter being a little blotted. Being proposed to is all very nice and all very sort of thing, but it isn't an all happy thing whenever you have to see a poor fellow whom you know loves you honestly going away looking all broken-hearted. Girl, he barely knew you. He didn't love you. He liked your face. My dear, I must stop here at present. I feel so miserable, though I am happy. Evening. Arthur had just gone, and I fell into better spirits than I left off, so I can go on to tell you about the day. My dear, number 2 came after lunch. He's a nice fellow, an American from Texas, and he looked so young and so fresh. It seemed almost impossible that he had been to so many places and had seen so many adventures. I sympathized with poor Desdemona when she had that stream poured into her ear, even by a man. I suppose that we women are such cowards that we think if a man will save us from our fears and we can marry him. But no, I don't, for here it was Mr. Morris telling us of his stories, and Arthur never told any, and yet, my dear, I am somewhat previous. Mr. Quincy P. Morris found me alone. It seemed a man had always done to find a girl alone, but he doesn't, for Arthur tried twice to make a chance, and I helping him all I could. I'm not ashamed to say it now. I must tell you beforehand that Mr. Morris doesn't always speak slang. That is to say, he never does so to strangers. But he is very rather well educated, and he has exquisite manners. He found out that it amused me to hear him talk in his American slang, and whenever I was present, there was no one to be more shocked than he, and he said such the funniest of things. However, my dear, I'm afraid that he has to invent it all, for it fits exactly whatever else he has to say. This is a way that slang has. I don't even know if Arthur likes it. I've never even heard him use slang as yet. Well, but Mr. Morris sat down beside me, and he looked at me as happy and jolly as he could be, and I could see all the same that he was very nervous. He took my hand in his and said ever so sweetly, "Miss Lucy, I know I ain't good enough to regulate the fixings of your little shoes, but I guess if you could wait till you find a man that is you will go. Join them, 7 young women with the lamps when you quit. Won't you just hitch up alongside of me and let us go down the long road together, driving in a double harness?" Girl, what? You want to get hitched in a double harness? That's quite the way of saying wanna get married. But okay. You know, I'm. It's an avocado. Thanks. My dear, before I could say a word, he began pouring out a perfect torrent of love-making, laying his very heart and soul at my feet. Oh my God. They're fornicating. I'm just kidding. He's saying sweet nothings. He looked so earnest over that I shall never again think of a man to be as playful as him. My fate, and never as earnest, because he was so merry. I suppose he saw something in my face For he suddenly stopped and said with a sort of manly fervor that I could have loved him if I had been free. Lucy, you're an honest-hearted girl, I know. I should not have been here speaking to you as I am now if I didn't believe you a clean grit right through the very depths of your soul. Tell me, like one good fellow to another, is there anyone else that you care for? And if there is, I'll never trouble you a hair's breadth again, but will be, if you'll let me, a very faithful friend. My dear Mina, why are men so noble when we women are so little worthy of them? Huh? Girl. Choices. She ain't a girl's girl. She ain't a girl's girl. I'm saying it now. Lucy ain't a girl's girl. She is not a nice lady. Well, I burst into tears, I'm afraid, my dear. You'll see from the very sloppy letter in more ways than one, and I really felt truly awful. Why can't they let a girl marry 3 men, or as many as she wants, and save all this trouble? I mean, the word. Polygamy. Yes, there is someone I love, though he has not told me yet that he even loves me. I was right to speak to him so frankly, because he put both his hands in mine, and I put mine into his, and he said in a heartfelt way, "That's my brave girl." Oh? Oh? Okay. Okay. That's my brave girl. It's better worth being late for a chance of winning you than being on time for any other girl in the world. Don't cry, my dear. If it's for me, I'm a hard nut to crack, and I can take it standing up. Oh. Oh. If that other fellow doesn't know his own happiness, well, he'd better look for it soon, or he'll have to deal with me. Young lady, your honesty and pluck have made a friend out of me, and that's rarer than a lover. It's more selfish anyhow. My dear, I'm gonna have the pretty lonely walk between this and kingdom come. Won't you give me one kiss? It'll be something to keep off the darkness now and then. You can, you know, if you like, for that other good fellow, or you could not love him. Has he? After all, he hasn't spoken yet. Well, Mina, that quite won me over, for it was a brave and sweet of him, and quite noble too. When he was so sad, I leant over and gave him a kiss. Oh my god. Sounds like Gray from Fairy Tale. Sounds like Gary from Pokemon. I know, he's such a smooth talker. I'm getting sweaty. He took my hand, took his hat, and went straight out the room without looking back. Not a tear or quiver or pause. And here I am, crying like a babe. Oh, why must a man like that be made so unhappy when there are so many girls with which would worship the very ground he walked on? Girl, come on now. Ever your loving, Lucy. P.S. About number 3. I needn't tell you of number 3, need I? Besides, it's all so confusing. It seems only a moment from his coming into the room till both his arms were round me and he was kissing me. I'm very, very happy, and I don't know what I've done to deserve it. I must only try in the future to show that I'm not ungrateful to God and all his goodness for sending me such a lover, such a husband, and such a friend. Goodbye. Dr. Stewart's diary kept in pornography. Huh? Pornograph. Phonograph. Phonograph. Oh my god. Oh my goodness gracious. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Are we almost done? 1, 2, yes, we're almost done. 2 more pages. Okay. 25th of May. I cannot eat, I cannot rest, so diary instead. Since my rebuff yesterday, I have a sort of empty feeling inside. Nothing in the world seems of sufficient importance to be worth the doing. I'm a grandma, of course I've heard of a phonograph. I just, I didn't read it right. That's my bad. A jerk because he wants to bring out the best in you, but does it in the clearest of ways? Oh. He's insecure about himself to tell women who's been chasing him ever since. Oh. He needs to get the courage. You know, he needs to, you know, buck up. I went amongst the patients. I'd picked out one who has afforded me a study of much interest. Today I seemed to get nearer than ever before the heart of this mystery. I questioned him more fully than I had ever done so, with a view to making myself master of the facts of his hallucinations. In my manner in doing so, there was, I now see, some kind of cruelty. I wanted to wish him, to the point of madness, a thing with which I avoid with the patients, that I have a mouth of hell. Memo. Under what circumstances would I not have the pit of hell? Omne Rome Venalia sum. Hell has its price. If there's anything behind this instinct, it's a valuable trace afterwards accurately, so I better commence in doing so. R.M. Renfield, age 59. Sanguine temperament, great physical strength, morbidly excitable, periods of gloom ending in some fixed idea with which I cannot make out. I presume that the sanguine temperament itself and the disturbing influence end in a mentally accomplished finish. A possibly dangerous man, probably dangerous if unselfish. What I think of on this point is when in self, the study of a fixed point of the centripetal force is balanced with the centrifugal. Renfield, Johnny's predecessor? Ooh. He has an interesting habit? Oh. He eats bugs. I remember that from the Nicolas Cage vampire movie. When duty at cause is a fixed point, the latter force is paramount, and only accident or a series of accidents can balance it. Letter from Quincy Morris to the Honorable Arthur. 25th of May. My dear Artie. We've holed yarns by the campfire in the prairies and dressed one another's wounds after trying a landing at the Marquesas and drunk healths on the shores of Titanica. There are more yarns to be told and other wounds to be healed and another health to be drunk. Won't you let this be my campfire tomorrow night? I have no hesitation in asking you, as I know a certain lady's engaged to a certain party, and that you are free. There'll be only one other, our old pal from Korea, Jack Stewart. He's coming too, and we both want to mingle our weeps over the wine cup, and drink a health with which all our hearts to the happiest of men in the world. We promise you a hearty welcome, and a loving greeting, and a health as true as your own right hand. We'll both swear to leave you at home if you drink too deep, to a certain pair of eyes. Come, yours as ever and always, Quincy. Telegram from Arthur to Quincy. Count me in every time I bear messages with which will make both your ears tingle. Signed, Artie. Alright, there we go. Chapter 6 is upon us. I believe that we have done quite a lot tonight, and it is time for us to raid out into someone lovely. Let me refresh the page. Oh, you know what? One second. I'm gonna click unlive and then live. Just 1 second. Don't go nowhere.